Kickoff of tonight's game, and the Green Bay Packers will kick off with Ryan Longwell in his 5th year out of the University of California. Kevin Casper is a rookie from Iowa and reminds a lot of people of another former Hawkeye, Tim Dwight, the former Falcon, now playing in San Diego. So here we go in the early evening from Packerland. Taken at the 1-yard line by the rookie Casper, and Casper trying to win a job, almost broke it. Tackled at the 27-yard line by Antoine Edwards as we go to Melissa Stark. Melissa.
Al, 2 years ago, most people didn't know who Mike Sherman was. He was the offensive coordinator in Seattle. Last year, he got his first head coaching job ever at any level with the Packers. This year, the man who hired him, Ron Wolf, retired, and Sherman took over for him as general manager. That's a job that most coaches don't get until they've won a Super Bowl or 2. Sherman said that the biggest piece of advice he's gotten on how to handle all the responsibilities came from his wife. She said, you can't possibly work more than you already do, so just learn how to manage your time.
And Sherman has just watched his defense give up that completion from Greasy to Rod Smith, with Butler making the tackle, and a gain of 15 for a first down.
You know, Sherman's got it easy, Al. All he has to do is follow Lombardi. I, of course, have to follow the legacy that is Esiason.
Interesting way to look at it. Sherman also followed, among others, Mike Holmgren, for whom he worked here in the 90s, and then Ray Rhodes, who was here for 1 year. Rhodes, interestingly, now on the other side with Denver as the defensive coordinator, and that's caught by Smith, so they go to Smith on the first 2 plays, and he takes it across the 50 to the 49-yard line. That's a gain of 8. So Brian Greasy, who separated his shoulder in that Monday night game and still came back in to lead them to the win last November, with Mike Anderson and Patrick Hape in the backfield. Smith's already caught 2 balls, and McCaffrey on the other side. Carswell is the tight end, and the offensive line light and fast as it always is in Denver, with Teague, Friedman, Nalen, a Pro Bowler, Neal, and Matt Lepsis.
Trey Teague, the man who's under the microscope tonight, replacing Tony Jones.
Jones has retired after working out initially with Cleveland. 2nd and 2. A flag goes down as Mike Anderson's first carry takes him to the 44-yard line, and the penalty will be against Green Bay for offside. Bill Carollo so designates that call.
That's against Darren Sharper. Darren Sharper offsides.
Offside, defense, number 36. That penalty is declined. First down.
Sharper coming on a blitz, trying to get some pressure on the quarterback. He just steps a little too soon into the neutral zone. That gets that flag. But Mike Anderson will run this first series for the Broncos. Then he'll give way to Alandis Gary. They'll go back and forth by series until about the midway through the 3rd quarter. And they're being judged as a possible #1 back for the Broncos.
Greasy, a lot of time, but the secondary does its job, and then Bryan slides to a halt and loses 3. Let's take a look at the Packer defensive unit, hurting, of course, up front with no Santana Dotson and no Gilbert Brown for the moment. Billy Lyon and Jim Flanagan inside, John Theory and Vonnie Holliday the ends. You've got Harris in the middle of K.D. Williams, and Gizzy is a former Bronco. And then Mike McKenzie with Todd McBride at the corners, and the pair of safeties, as good as they come in the league as a tandem, in Sharper and Butler. And there is John Theory, came in with Chicago in the early 90s, and like a lot of Bears, made his way up Lake Michigan. And this one is picked off by Mike McKenzie. And McKenzie takes it to the 44-yard line as Green Bay comes up with the early turnover.
The key for McKenzie on the corner is to be physical with Eddie Kennison. And that's exactly what he is. He's right up in his face. Kennison goes at about 190 pounds, and great read by McKenzie as he cut underneath that slant route. Greasy doesn't throw many interceptions, only threw 4 all year last season in the regular season.
It's time for Antoine Edwards and McKenzie to reward Ron Wolf's faith in them. And this is the year they're looking for them to do that.
Greasy threw only 1 pick every 84 passes last season. Now from the 44, Green Bay's first offensive play is Rondell Mealy, 7th round pick last year, no gain. Brett Favre his numbers last year, but he got hot at the end. Mealy starts tonight with the injuries to Levens and to Green. Henderson, the fullback, with Schrader and Freeman outside. Franks was their #1 pick last year, the tight end. And offensively, up front for Green Bay with Clifton, Wall, Flanagan, Rivera, and Mark Tauscher, the Badger.
How often do you get both your starting tackles in one draft in 1 year?
2nd and 9. Here's Mealy again, who was hurt last season. Suffered a knee injury, was on injured reserve all year. And Bill Romanowski, he's back, year 14 for the former BC Eagle, who started with the 49ers. Keith Washington, McLaughlin, who's been a Raider and a Chief both. Trevor Price went to the Pro Bowl, and the former Cowboy Pittman. The offensive or defensive line with John Mobley, Al Wilson, and Romanowski, the linebackers. And in the secondary, O'Neal with Denard Walker, the former Tennessee Titan. At the corners, Billy Jenkins and Eric Brown are the safeties. 3rd and 10. Movement up front. Looked like Denver was offside. Schrader makes the catch, cuts it back inside, takes it down to the 18-yard line. Tackled by Ian Gold after he put a great move on Eric Brown, who had come over. 37-yard gain.
It was almost as if Eric Brown saw the flags go up and he relaxed for just a minute. If you relax against Brett Favre, he's going to burn you. Schrader kept on his route down the sideline. There goes the flag. Look at that's Walker looking to the inside and to the outside there. Brown over too late, and look at this rocket throw by Brett Favre. That's something he couldn't do last year at this time because he was battling tendonitis in his right arm.
Not only does Favre not hesitate when he sees a flag, he salivates.
Basically it's a veteran move. You know you've got a free play, and you know why not go down the field with it. Nobody does it better than Favre.
From the 19-yard line on 1st down. Favre, flag is thrown by the umpire. Pass over the middle intended for Antonio Freeman. And as is the case 99% of the time, when that official throws the flag, it's offensive holding.
Second to be against Mike Wall. Holding Chester McLaughlin. It's not a bad move. Chester 334 and a lot of power.
Holding, 68, offense, 10-yard penalty, replay 1st down.
You know, Dan, already this early in the game, we've seen the Packers in a couple 3 and 4 wide out spreads. And I'm wondering, now that they're so deep at that position with Driver and Corey Bradford, Schrader, Antonio Freeman, Charles Lee, are we going to see more of that from the Pack this year?
Well, probably not. They want to get Bubba Franks cranked up at the tight end position. He's such a big target over the middle and important to Brett Favre. Favre loves to throw to his tight ends.
1st and 20. And he swings it out to Mealy. And Mealy is out of bounds at the 19. And we'll see a lot of Mealy tonight because Dorsey Levens has a broken hand. He's iffy for the start of the regular season in 3 weeks. And Amon Green has a tender hamstring. If this were a regular season game, Green would probably be able to start tonight. But neither is in uniform.
We've seen Favre throw the high, hard fastball. Watch the touch here. 1st and 20. Just take what the defense gives you, dump it over the top, makes an easy catch for Mealy, gets down the sidelines, picks up 11 yards. Again, the veteran Favre dealing the ball.
It's like Juan Marichal. Go 3/4, sidearm, overhand, anything to beat you.
Even submarine if he had to. Or a shovel pass. 2nd and 9. Goes off his back foot as he does so brilliantly and has for so many years. And Bubba Franks makes the catch a little shy of the 1st down. Billy Jenkins makes the tackle, and Favre took a shot in the mouth.
We got Bubba lined up outside, Dennis, here. They move him out as a wide receiver. But this is what they love about the guy. Of course, he's got the great size to get inside Billy Jenkins, but look at those hands.
Beautiful.
Snatch that ball right out of the air.
Bubba says if he doesn't catch 50 this year, he's going to be disappointed.
In this offense, and as well as he's playing in training camp so far, I would expect him to catch at least 50.
But 34 last season, #1 draft choice in 2000. 3rd and 1 from the 11, and they give it to Mealy, and that's a great play, and one of the reasons that Price went to the Pro Bowl along with Keith Washington. 97 and 93 stop him in the backfield and force Longwell to come in to try for a 3-pointer.
Well, you know, the addition of Washington, Chester McLaughlin, Leon Lett put some meat up front this year. Out of the Baltimore Ravens, they're going to try to keep people off their middle backer, Al Wilson, like they do with Ray Lewis in Baltimore.
Well, what Washington does there is he avoids the lead block by William Henderson, and that allowed Price to clean up on the tackle.
30-yard field goal attempt for Ryan Longwell, He gives Green Bay the lead. So they cash in on the interception by Mike McKenzie. And a little less than 6 minutes into the game, it's Green Bay 3, Denver nothing.
The new Explorer's third generation at the Ackerman home. We have to get out.
I don't even know where we're going.
It's like a moving couch.
He loves working in the garden.
It's got so much space I could fit a tree in the back.
I like the smoothness of it. I love the way it turns. I'm driving now.
Mom caught our first fish, and though Dad thinks he's the better fisherman.
The 2002 Explorer is better for us because it has more room.
It's part of the family.
Patrons of Island's brew pubs called Killian's Brewmasters. Some of the finest in all the world. We just call them family. Stephen, George Henry, Grandfather George, Papa George, and George Killian V. 5 generations of Killian's Brewmasters who created an Irish brewing tradition every bit as rich as our lager. Killian's Irish Red. One look says a lot.
Access NFL.com for official fantasy football. Get expert analysis, player updates, live drafts, and real-time scoring.
He fires for the end zone. Touchdown!
Sign up now for the 2001 season free at NFL.com, your complete source for fantasy football. For behind-the-scenes coverage of NFL preseason and access to all 32 team sites, go to NFL.com.
ABC's Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Ford Outfitters, no boundaries. Verizon Wireless, join in. And Killian's Irish Red, which reminds you one look says a lot. Green Bay will be back here in 5 weeks, week 3 of the regular season. It'll be the Washington Redskins against Green Bay. And the regular year begins on Monday Night Football 3 weeks from tonight. The new Denver playpen will be the site of the Broncos and the New York Giants. Year 32 of Monday Night Football as Longwell kicks off, sends it to the goal line, and Kevin Casper, the rookie from Iowa, brings it back out to the 30-yard line. 2 good run backs for Casper, trying to win a job as a wideout and kick returner. 8:54 left, first quarter. 3-0 Pack.
What will you do with 1,500 more minutes?
1,500 more nightly girl talks. 1,500 more good times to share.
That means more scores to check out.
Verizon Wireless now gives you 1,500 more night and weekend home airtime minutes free every month with an annual agreement on select digital plans of $35 and above.
1,500 more
chances to get a date.
1,500 more emails. Even more goodnight kisses.
You always get more from the largest wireless network in the nation. Verizon Wireless. Join in.
Did you ever see that movie, You've Got Mail? Where this guy and girl fall in love emailing each other a bunch of times? Anyway, they finally meet face to face, and there's this big romantic kiss. Do you know the movie I'm talking about? Did you ever see that one? Well, this guy didn't. Ford F-Series Super Duty. Built Ford tough.
Camp is where it all begins. Talent emerges. Respect grows. Raw rookies and wise veterans become teammates bonded. And championship dreams are born. ABC Sports presents the American Bowl. Raiders, Cowboys. Next week at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific.
To all the dads out there who work so hard.
Mom, she hit me.
Doing the things that dads do best.
Yes! Yes! Come on, in, home.
Have we got a show for you? According to Jim, part of D-Day Wednesdays this fall on ABC.
Olandis Gary, you see his numbers last season all in one evening, all on Monday Night Football, all at St. Louis. He rushed for 80 yards against the Rams in the Monday night opener. Then a torn ACL was discovered. He was gone for the year. Terrell Davis, who will probably play this weekend in Denver, but hasn't played thus far in preseason. He, too, coming back from surgery. From the 29-yard line, they have Gary in the game, and Gary picks up 6 up to the 35-yard line. Denver with its plethora of running backs. And wouldn't Brian Billick die for any of these guys, for instance, in Baltimore right now? Davis in 98, 2,000 yards. Gary in 99 in place of the injured Davis, over 1,000. And then Mike Anderson out of nowhere last year, the 26-year-old rookie at that point, almost 1,500 for Mike Shanahan.
Freaky thing about that trio, Al, is you're talking about 2 6th-round picks and Orlando Gary a 4th-round pick.
Second down and 4. Greasy with time over the middle. Smith makes his 3rd catch, loses the ball. It's loose, and Denver turns it over again. So the Broncos, 2 possessions, 2 turnovers. K.D. Williams with the recovery.
And Brian Greasy did such a good job of being patient, looking off one receiver, finding Smith over the middle. And Smith he just doesn't fumble very often. He's so good at running after the catch. Kicking himself now for that fumble.
You can call this the Mike Phillips Hall of Fame. I'm a personal fitness trainer, and I feel the Ford Explorer offers agility, balance, and a lot of heart. Everybody assumes that Mike's driving because Mike's Explorer seats 7. Wild bunch of guys. See, that's me right there. You can say I do every sport. Well, almost every sport.
Boys will be boys, let's face it.
2002 Explorer combines space, power, and attitude. Sheer perfection.
Do you know you are 1 year old today?
First birthday.
Goodness. Happy birthday, sweetheart. Oh, that's good.
Let's open the present.
Okay, you want to go open the present? See what we got here, huh? Oh, look. What's in that box, Daddy? Oh, my goodness.
You got a big screen TV.
Get 0% on all digital projection TVs for 1 year at Sears Electronics Super Sale. Surprising selection at Sears.
Santana Dotson of the Green Bay Packers considers himself an average man. He is 6'5", 290 pounds. Average.
Your thigh is big.
His neck is 21 inches around. Again, average.
You got some big feet.
And like many of his teammates, Santana supports the United Way through neighborhood programs in his community. You'd be surprised what an average man can do.
Depend only on yourself, and then make yourself occasionally unavailable.
Bob Patterson is coming to ABC Tuesdays this fall.
3 weeks from tonight, we go to Denver. Opening night, Invesco Field at Mile High, brand new stadium, and it's the Broncos hosting the NFC champion New York Giants on Monday Night Football year 32. Now Green Bay, after the second turnover, Mealy picks up 5. Mike McKenzie, meanwhile, has an interception tonight, and he was the man who jarred the ball loose. K.D. Williams recovering on the last play.
And K.D. Williams, who's filling in for another injured Packer, linebacker Niall Diggs. Packers are really going to be tested tonight, but they're getting a lot of gifts from Denver. That defense is so decimated by injury. But that's what preseason's all about sometimes, giving the youngsters more of an opportunity to play.
2nd and 4 in the twilight, 7.5 to go in the opening period at Lambeau Field, and Farr for the first time operates out of the shotgun, fakes the inside give, good looking play, but a nice defensive play as Franks makes the catch, and Eric Brown reads it perfectly and comes up to make the hit.
I can see what you mean, Dan. Bubba's a nice tent pole to work the whole operation off of, isn't he?
Well, when you have a guy that's that big in the middle, we've seen him make the tough catch with his hands, but we're going to see him also be able to bounce off smaller defensive backs, maneuver, especially when the Packers get down in the red zone. The field shrinks so much, but Brett Favre is so good at squeezing the ball into tight spots. He really has to have confidence, which he has now in Bubba Franks, to throw him the ball when he's got somebody draped on him.
More importantly, he's good at just squeezing the ball. That thumb's completely healed, and he's feeling great.
Yeah. Remember last year, he didn't play at all in preseason because of that thumb. And on 3rd and short, he airs it out, but only white shirts are there, and it is Deltha O'Neal, but he is on the chalk. He is out of bounds. He makes the pick, but he's out of bounds.
Communication problem with Brett Favre and Antonio Freeman. You wouldn't expect that. how many years they've played together. O'Neal's got a fight with Kenoy Kennedy. And that's real close. You know, if Kennedy just lets it go, this is an easy catch for O'Neal.
Well, the Denver coaches told us Kenoy hits anything that moves, and
he sure does.
Unfortunately, he even hit Delta.
Low snap, Josh Bidwell. Fair catch is called for, and they let it go into the end zone. And even though it comes out, it had gone across the goal line. So as it turns out, it's a good thing that he didn't pick it off, because they pick up 19 yards. Instead of having it at the 1, they've got it at the 20. 3-zip. Broncos have it at the 20. They trail 3-0. 6:21 left in the first.
Well, I watched a lot of PGA golf this weekend. I'm figuring that head's running what, Al? 13 on the stimp meter?
At least. Nicholson might have gotten it to the hole off that head. From the 20-yard line, this is Mike Anderson for a gain of 2. When we were talking about the Denver running backs, and any of the 3 could start for a lot of teams in the NFL. Of course, you go back to '98, Terrell Davis, and there are Anderson's numbers last year approaching 1,500 and 5.0 per carry. At the end of the '98 season, you'll recall, Terrell Davis was almost inarguably the best running back of the National Football League.
When you go for 2,000 yards, you are the best in the National Football League.
Yeah, at 5,300 in 3 years. That's unheard of.
2nd and 8, corner blitz. And it's up the middle for Anderson, who picks up 3, tackled by the middle linebacker, Bernardo Harris. Davis, MVP in the first of the Broncos' 2 Super Bowl wins, and then very instrumental in the second. And there he was between 95 and 98, starting 15 of 16 games per season.
Question now, can he regain the confidence to make all those great cuts and have the speed to break away that he had during that great time?
Well, he always used to look like he was running downhill, and now you got to wonder, is he going downhill?
3rd down and 5. And that is caught. That's a first down as the catch is made by Carswell. The big question, I think, for a guy like Mike Shanahan is, do you take Terrell Davis, and you do owe him something, and you do have to be loyal to somebody like that. Do you take Terrell Davis at 80% over Olandis Gary or Mike Anderson at between 90 and 100%?
That's the decision that Shanahan hopes he has to make, Al. He hopes that Terrell Davis can get back healthy. But the one thing all those running backs have is an outstanding offensive line.
Well, the ruthless thing is who brings you the most in a trade, too.
From the 34-yard line, Greasy. And Brian looking for the sideline. Well, Eric Dickerson, a great running back. Eric, you were never in a situation like this, but give me a further take on what you think is going to happen with the Broncos.
Well, Al, you know what it'd be like? It'll be like having Montana, Elway, and Favre in the backfield trying to play quarterback. I think it's not enough football. For a running back, you have to get those 15 or 20 carries to get into the groove of the football game. Also, if you get into a rush, you try to rush things, that's when you start making mistakes. That was the thing with myself and Marcus Allen when we played the Raiders. We always felt we were waiting for the other guy to come tap you on the shoulder. So you have to make a decision to be one guy is going to be the main guy. The other guys just have to be the backup.
2nd and 5 from the 39-yard line. Look out from the backside, and coming in from the corner is Todd McBride.
I'm still trying to recover from thinking about ED and Marcus Allen in the same backfield. How many defensive coordinators did that put in the loony bin?
Ed Donatel has been with this system now for 2 years, and from the right here you'll see Todd McBride jump to the inside, totally unblocked. Trey Teague too late. Mike Anderson looking to pick up. He's too late. And Donatel feels comfortable that his Packers now know his system, which is similar to what the Broncos used to run. So you would think that the Broncos would have been ready for that corner blitz.
Well, I think Trey Teague and Cooper Carlisle are competing for that position, so Trey's got to pick that man up.
Broncos take a timeout, 3rd and 14 when we come back to Green Bay. You know you're in Green Bay when you're at the corner of Holmgren and Lombardi. And there's a firehouse. And that's Brett Favre's number, of course, dedicated to Brett. A lot of Lombardi schools and plazas And ironically, the tallest building in Green Bay is a hospital known as St. Vincent's.
Vince Lombardi Middle School. Grade the daylight, baby. All the chalkboards have the power sweep drawn up on them.
3rd and 14. After the timeout, and he throws into traffic intended for Smith, who gets hit by Todd McBride.
They're going to call this a helmet-to-helmet hit on McBride. He goes over and apologizes to Rod Smith. Really doesn't want to hear any of that.
The next guy he should apologize to is Mike Sherman, because that's going to be a costly penalty. That's a personal foul, and instead of a 4th and 14, it's a first down.
And that's a good call, because Rod Smith was totally defensive, just defenseless. He had
personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 27, after the incomplete pass. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, if Rod Smith's ears aren't ringing already, they are now as the Green Bay crowd expresses their discontent.
You know, he took about 3 steps and then got popped, but McBride led with his helmet, and he made contact with Smith's helmet. That got the flag, besides it being 3 steps too late.
Yeah, he could see the ball was on the carpet already.
First down, Denver at the 45-yard line. That's Travis McGriff in motion. They give the ball to Anderson, and Anderson, who came out of high school, then went to the Marines for 4 years, then to junior college, then 2 years at Utah, takes it up to the 50-yard line.
And his strength is doing just that, running between the tackles. He's dropped 12 pounds to be a little bit quicker, so he doesn't get caught from behind when he breaks out in the open now. But you talk about a guy that's highly motivated. Surprised last year, but now he expects to be the #1 guy.
I'd imagine training camp looks pretty easy after you've gone through Marine boot camp, too.
2nd and 6. Here is Anderson again. Gain of 1. The flag is down. Bill Carolus is offside against Green Bay. And while they march it off, we can tell you, we talked to Anderson last night about what he thinks he can bring to the running back position that none of the other Broncos can.
I would say the tenacity, that mentality to never give up and continue to work hard day in, day out, and just keep grinding at it, and just keep grinding and willing to do whatever it takes. Whether it's playing the halfback or if I have to get down and play the fullback, then that'll be something I have to do.
Very engaging fellow who told us an interesting thing last night as he picks up the first down, getting to the 38. I asked him, when did you know you had made the teams? There's Gary on the sideline. But last year in training camp, Mike Anderson said, I knew when the phone didn't ring at 10 o'clock the night they made the final cuts, and not until then.
This is what he brings, and we'll take a look at the picture. Great block there by Habe, Patrick Habe, playing fullback now for the Broncos. But look at that strength, the leg drive, that's tenacity right there.
At the 38, first down, the Broncos marching down 3-0 late first period. They give it to Anderson again. First quarter workhorse takes it to the 34-yard line. Anderson has now carried 6 times for 26 yards, and we pull back from the air, and they are renovating Lambeau Field. It's a $300 million project, a little less than that actually. They're going to add 10,000 seats, keep the bowl, raise the level of the luxury boxes. There are the cranes that will be here over the next year and a half, and they'll have everything in place by 2003, but they will play this year and next year through the construction.
Well, they had to renovate. You can't exit left on Lambeau, can you? You have to stay here.
2nd and 6 from the 34. Greasy throws. That's caught by Eddie Kennison, former Ram, former Saint, former Bear, and now trying to become solidly entrenched as Greasy's #3 receiver.
You know, guys, we've been talking about the 3 running backs, and then we also mentioned the Patrick Hapeson at fullback. That points out the 4th running back, and maybe the most important deletion from this team. Howard Griffith's got nerve problems in his neck. Without him springing up the middle for these blocks, that's going to be, could that alter these 3 gentlemen's games?
And the way it looks, Griffith will be out for about half a season is what most people are speculating. On 1st and 10, Greasy throws to the end zone, and it is knocked down. Rod Smith and McBride hooking up, and a flag is thrown, and Smith is saying, give me a flag. Well, he got a flag, and now let's see who they're going to call it on.
Boy, it looked like McBride had perfect timing on this play.
The flag is, there's a flag down at the goal line. There's also one in the offensive backfield. So we have two separate penalties here.
Well, the one at the goal line is going to be against McBride. No question about that. But that's the other one, so the play will be nullified.
Holding against Denver, interference against Green Bay.
Holding, number 70, offense. Pass interference, number 27, defense. Penalties offset. Replay first down.
Could be tricky a couple weeks hence watching the substitute referees figuring this sort of stuff out, Hal.
Well, we'll talk about that at the half with Pat Bowlen, the owner of the Broncos, who's involved in the discussions.
There's Trey Teague holding Kabir Bajabiamila. And here's the pass interference call against McBride. He pushes just a little bit too soon. You know, he could have gone with just the right hand and knocked the ball away, but he had to add the left hand push in the middle of the back.
1st and 10 from the 24-yard line. Anderson in motion, so with the backfield vacant, Greasy throws over the middle. That's caught by Smith. He takes it to the 10 for a first down on what figures to be the final play of the period. And Rod Smith has 4 catches for 52 yards. And that will be the end of the first quarter at Lambeau Field with the score of the Green Bay Packers 3 and the Denver Broncos nothing. And Monday night preseason football will return after this. Amigos, next Monday we'll be in Mexico City. The Dallas Cowboys take on the Oakland Raiders. The American Bowl next Monday from Azteca Stadium in Mexico City, Denny.
Green Bay to Mexico City, from cheddar cheese to nacho cheese, Al. Looking forward to it, my friend.
What a scene that is down there with about 110,000 people. 1st and goal as we start the second quarter. Greasy throws it away. So the Green Bay secondary does its job. Greasy forced to throw it out of the back of the end zone. It'll be 2nd down.
Yeah, Rod Smith did not play last week when the Broncos played against the Cowboys, but he's certainly getting his work in tonight. 4 catches, 52 yards. Been involved in a number of plays. Fumbled once.
Is Big Eddie McCaffrey in? I haven't heard his name yet.
He was only going to play 10 plays because he'd been sick earlier in the week, so he's out of the game. But that gives, again, youngsters opportunities that they have to take advantage of.
And a longer look at Eddie Kennison. Here is Smith. 5th catch. Smith to the 3-yard line. Tackled by Todd McBride, setting up a 3rd down and goal.
You know, he reminds me so much of Jerry Rice after the catch, because he catches the ball and he's the quickest receiver at turning up the field after the catch. Just a one-step pattern, and look how fast he squares up on the defensive back Todd McBride, gives him a straight arm, gets outside him and down close enough to the goal line.
Well, you know, he's got that quick acceleration, Danny. Had 28 receptions of over 20 or more yards last year.
And that's the key, is that quick first step.
He and Torrey Holt, man, they're off to the races when they catch it.
And before
timeout,
the Broncos
Green
can
Bay
get off the 3rd and goal,
first charge, timeout.
Green Bay did not like its defensive personnel. They take a timeout. Greasy comes to the sideline to discuss the next play with Shanahan and Gary Kubiak. 3rd and goal when we come back.
After each of his 109 touchdowns, Barry Sanders had a move that became his trademark. He didn't spike the ball. He didn't taunt the opponents. He didn't dance in the end zone. Barry Sanders simply handed the ball to the referee.
Hey, nothing beats an original. Original Coors, brewed with Rocky Mountain water.
Original Coors. Nice handoff.
Introducing the next great Jeep idea. Jeep Liberty, with a totally new suspension designed to make the daily commute as smooth as possible. Jeep Liberty.
does it her way.
My retainer for a preliminary hearing is $1,000.
Another lawyer does it his.
I'm more expensive, but I think I can get you off.
When they're together in one firm,
You raised my fee?
They don't respect you if you're too cheap.
you better look out.
And I got him probation.
Probation?
He's a free man.
How'd you do that?
These are Philadelphia lawyers.
What'd you do, sleep with the prosecutor?
Tom Everett Scott.
Yep.
Kim Delaney. Philly. Tuesdays this fall on ABC. Viewer discretion advised.
Green Bay, Wisconsin. It doesn't matter whether it's regular season or preseason. Nary a ticket to be had. Rod Smith had lined up at fullback, not flank south. 3rd down and goal after the timeout, and they give it to Anderson. Fighting, but stopped inside the 1. Cut it back. Looked like he was going to get in, and then the Packer surge stops him at the 1-yard line.
You know, he talked about that tenacity. Well, this is what it's all about. That was a long way to go to try to get in the end zone from 3.5 yards out. But watch the leg drive. It never stops. He's looking for a crack anywhere. Now he's going to get some help from behind. Just too many green shirts there.
Certainly an instance there where you want Howard Griffin blowing that Fisher up.
I bet they try it one more time. Hape is a big guy leading that at 260.
Going for it on 4th down and goal. And this time it's the play fake and wide open, as so often happens to Hape. A very similar play that they used last week to score against Dallas. Fake it to the back, and then Hape, it's free in the end zone for the touchdown.
They gave it such a good, strong run look with Hape coming off the tight end side. Greasy, one of the better ball fakers. He was great at the University of Michigan doing just that. Faking to Mike Anderson, the soft touch to Hape, who makes the fingertip catch. Wow.
Well, that's what Hape gives you the Griffith doesn't. He's a converted tight end. He's like Kleinsasser from Minnesota, but he's got great hands.
Big target at 6'4".
Jason Elam with Tom Ruin holding. The kick is good. So aided by that late hit by McBride on that 3rd and 14. That personal foul proved very costly to Green Bay. Denver leads by 4.
Introducing the next great Jeep idea. Jeep Liberty. Refined for the road, yet always ready for the challenges of nature. Jeep Liberty.
Fierce, so bold. It's fierce.
So, didn't get enough of the Wayne Brady Show? Don't worry, we got you covered. And there's plenty more where that came from. The Wayne Brady Show is all new Wednesday, 8:30, 7:30 Central, right after My Wife and Kids on ABC.
Camp is where it all begins. Talent emerges. Respect grows. Raw rookies and wise veterans become teammates bonded. And championship dreams are born. ABC Sports presents the American Bowl. Raiders, Cowboys. Next week at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific.
I swear I was back in Hawaii. Look at that shot.
Wow. Ozone problems? Who says so? That's why people move to Green Bay. The sun sets, my friend.
Sun going. We just want to have fun till the sun goes down over Santa Monica Boulevard.
Wow, a little Sheryl Crow groupie there.
Allen Rawson. Back to receive Jason Elam's kick from the 11. Up to the 33-yard line. That's where they'll shut up shop. This is like a religious experience, of course. Then he came to Green Bay for the first time last year. How long do you think it would take you to get off the waiting list for a season ticket here?
Well, I was looking into it. It's 56,000 people. The next guy to get on first turned his name in 1970. So I'm hoping he's not some disappointed Phil Bankston fan or something when he finally does get the ticket. They have less turnover in this fan base than the Supreme Court.
Dan, did you ever play here?
Played here twice. One very memorable one not so. Broke a thumb one day.
I think you told me the Matt Stork took your digit out, didn't he?
Yeah, Ted Hendricks, the Hall of Fame linebacker, was with the Packers for a short time between stints in Baltimore and Oakland.
Just long enough to ruin your
Prior to
thumb.
the snap, false start, snap infraction, 5-yard penalty, number 58. Replay first out.
Now that's how a center can be offsides. He false started himself. He kind of jerked the ball and obviously forgot what the snap count was. But you don't expect that from the center.
All the time I've been watching Grid, I've never heard the snap infraction called. You learn something every day.
There you go. Well, you've now done 20 games. I guess you've just about seen it all.
My first snap infraction. I feel like a man.
Pop the champagne.
From the 28, first and 15 as Favre. Boom in the middle. Caught by Mealy. He gets tackled by Romanowski, and we go to Melissa.
Al, it is amazing that Mike Flanagan is a starting center in the NFL. 3 years ago, actually in 1996, he was a promising third-round pick for the Green Bay Packers. In his second preseason game during the opening kickoff, he suffered a brutal injury, a compound fracture in his right lower leg. His heel actually rolled up and touched his knee. He wasn't on an active roster for 2 years. After intense rehabilitation, he actually came back, played some games. Last year, was traded to Carolina. The doctors there took one look at his x-rays, sent him right back, and he has beaten out Frank Winters for the starting job.
The longtime center Frank Winters as Favre hits Freeman, and Ian Gold makes the hit up near a first down.
Well, the doctors must have did a heck of a job on Flanagan, because when we were talking to the coaches yesterday, they stressed how agile he is. So the leg evidently is completely healed.
Yeah, the thing about Flanagan, he's more athletic. He's a lot younger than Frank Winters. Watch the route inside here by Antonio Freeman, finding the dead spot in the zone. That's the confidence that Favre has in Antonio, that he's going to find that spot, give him a good target.
3rd and 1 from the 42-yard line. And now Mealy, who played his college ball at LSU, made a nice debut last year in preseason before he tore his knee up and spent the whole season on injured reserve, and is trying to stay with the team as the number 3 back. Of course, they have Amon Green not playing tonight. Dorsey Levin's not playing tonight, so he's trying to win the number 3 job. As you look at the man they called old bag of donuts, Frankie Winters.
Well, he knows what it's like in the belly of the beast there. He's fought the wars for a long time, and if Flanagan falters, you've obviously got a real solid guy coming in after him.
Winters in his 15th season. Flanagan in his 6th. 1st and 10 at the 46. Favre again throwing off his back foot, but throws it behind Antonio Freeman, who was covered by Denard Walker.
You know, we've got Amon Green and Dorsey Levens at that halfback position, but Mealy's got to get past Amon Parker, too. I think Sherman feels a bit of an allegiance to Parker. Made that big first down for him in that Christmas Eve Tampa Bay game last year, and Sherman even mentioned in our meeting, so he seems to have a sense of loyalty there to Damon.
We'll see Damon Parker tonight. There he is, and we'll also probably see Herbert Whisper Goodman.
Where is our good friend, the Whisper?
He'll be in the game.
That was a fun story last year. The kid looked great that one night we had him.
Yeah. 2nd and 10 from the 46-yard line. Favre. Still throws that fastball like nobody else. Schrader, 8-yard gain.
You know, Schrader was coming back to the ball, and when the ball got to Schrader, it changed Schrader's direction. It helped him turn down the field. That ball was thrown so hard by Brett Favre. 84 is Schrader. Watch him on the crossing route here. Broncos with just a 4-man rush, no pressure at all on Favre, but watch the ball help Schrader get turned down the field.
Schrader didn't even have to catch that because it was sticking.
Yeah, that's a self-defense catch right there. He's going to have a bruise on that right bicep tomorrow.
Schrader last year 999 receiving yards. And on 3rd and short, here goes Mealy around the corner for a first down inside the 35 off a William Henderson block.
This is what Mealy gives Mike Sherman. He gives him a big back at 6 foot, 224 pounds with the speed to get around the corner and then punish tacklers down the field. Mealy, you talked about those 6th-round draft picks for Denver, Dennis. Well, Mealy was a 7th-round pick out of LSU last year. Watch the speed, right in the hole, and now he's finishing off the run by taking on Eric Brown.
7th round's the last round now, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Well, that's a nice dividend.
Cheap, too.
Favre out of the gun, inside handoff. Mealy runs into his own lineman. Gain of 1. It'll be 2nd down and 9 with 10 minutes to go in the half, and Denver leading Green Bay 7-3.
Mealy tapping on his helmet, a little winded. So we will see Whisper Goodman in the backfield now.
Hey, I like the tools Favre has to work with this year, guys. I mean, you're talking about 5-6 deep with those wideouts. Amon Green was great last year. If Dorsey can come back.
Yeah, Tom Rossley says he wants to surround Brett Favre with as many explosive players because it's a high percentage short passing game, and let him use that ability to make big plays.
It's got a lot of tools.
2nd and 9. And in and out of the hands of Corey Bradford, who's a guy with a lot of potential but has yet to manifest it, and somebody they would love to see step up and assume a much larger role with Favre.
But Sherman said solidly that he is his 3-man, you know, after Schrader and Antonio Freeman.
Solidly until he drops a pass like that. Opinions can change in a hurry in training camp and in preseason games.
So they have a rookie, Robert Ferguson. They drafted him in the 2nd round. Also Charles Lee, 2nd year out of Central Florida. They like him. So Bradford does have to step it up. 3rd down and 9. Blitz. Favre. And there's Bradford, and Bradford drops that one.
Oh. Wow, I put the mojo on him,
You
man.
did.
Huh?
Oh, you did.
Sorry about that.
He just went from 3 to 7.
You know, Favre's the only one who can throw the heater off his back foot like that.
The Broncos bought pressure. That let Favre know that he could throw this ball early, throw it to the post to Bradford. Bradford jumps too early. Ball goes right through his hands.
Ooh.
That was a potential touchdown for number 4.
Ooh, that look is worse than getting cut.
48-yard field goal attempt now for Ryan Longwell.
Wow.
And the snap is errant. And the Denver Broncos will wind up with the ball on the Green Bay side of the field. Rob Davis was the snapper, and Bill Romanowski winds up with it.
Bradford wasn't the holder, was he?
Doug Peterson was the holder. The snap on the first one was high, and this one was even higher.
Do you know you are 1 year old today?
First birthday.
Goodness. Happy birthday, sweetheart. Oh, that's good.
Let's open the present.
Okay, you want to go open the present? See what we got here, huh? Oh, look. What's in that box, Daddy? Oh, my goodness.
You got a big screen TV.
Get 0% on all digital projection TVs for 1 year at Sears Electronics Super Sale. Surprising selection at Sears.
I have an introduction to make. Monsieur D'Artagnan.
On September 7th, legendary Hong Kong fight choreographer Yen Yen Zhong takes one of the greatest stories ever told.
He wants to be a musketeer.
And transforms it into an adventure.
All for one!
Like nothing you've seen before. The Musketeer, rated PG-13. At theaters Friday, September 7th.
Introducing the next great Jeep idea, Jeep Liberty. Full of innovations and legendary capability.
And now, your eyes are fine.
Nature has never seen anything quite like it. Jeep Liberty.
Next.
Alias, Sundays this fall on ABC.
Well, the college football season will kick off this weekend on ABC. 2 games on Saturday. TCU against 4th-ranked Nebraska in the Pigskin Classic. And then Sunday at 2 Eastern time, Syracuse against 13th ranked Georgia Tech. So college football back on ABC beginning this weekend. College football Saturday, Sunday, and we'll be in Mexico City for Dallas against Oakland next Monday. Gus Frerotte takes over at quarterback, so Brian Greasy finished for the night at the 44-yard line. And Gus, good play fake, throws deep, but everybody covered and throws it out of bounds. Before we go much farther, Gus wanted to send his very best to his dad, who will be having surgery tomorrow.
Open heart surgery for Gus Frerotte, Sr. We wish him the very best. Gus Jr. Holds a golf tournament in the offseason for the American Heart Association. So doing all the right things. We send our best wishes, obviously.
Gus Frerotte came over to Denver last year as the backup quarterback. And there is Steve Berline, who would be either number 2 or number 3, but Berline's going to be shelved for a while. More on that in a second. Second down and 10 from the 44-yard line. Gary. Berline's been around so long, Danny played for Mike Shanahan when Shanahan coached the Raiders in '87.
Shanahan coached the Raiders?
Yes, he played '88, yeah.
For how long?
A season and a third.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Last paycheck hasn't come yet, though.
You know the mail?
You know, the way they might play this quarterback thing is if Berline's out for a good chunk of time here. Sure, Frerotte will be the number 2 guy this year. I think his contract's up. He's going to want more money next year. Maybe it's time to let him go, and Berline will be healed up by then, come back as the number 2 guy next year.
So you see the experience, most of Ferrotte's experience at Washington, and a good part of Berline's experience in the last several years at Carolina. He was their number 1 quarterback last year, and on 3rd and 9, Frerotte incomplete, intended for Carswell. Rush was on that time. Frerotte had to get it away in a hurry, and it's 3 and out for Denver.
Frerotte was outstanding last week against the Cowboys. 0 for 2 tonight on this first 3-play drive, and then punt.
Well, you know, when Frerotte came in last year during one game, he actually set Denver's all-time one-game passing yardage record, 460 yards.
Well, you saw Nick Harris. This is one of the interesting stories in camp. Tom Ruin's been their longtime punter, but it's a real battle right now because Harris was picked in the 4th round, and that's, I don't know to tell you, very high for a punter, and he drops that one at the 10 as Rawson lets it bounce. And they will down it there. So Harris trying to unseat Ruin. And that battle will continue, I'm sure, right up until the beginning of the regular season.
Introducing the next great Jeep idea. Jeep Liberty. So incredibly capable, it can take you miles away.
Don't walk like a cop, all right?
You say you're serious about doing some good in the real world. Well, this is the place to learn.
Even those sworn to protect
Get away from the girl!
are human.
What's wrong with street justice?
Oh, just let the animals wipe themselves out.
God willing.
Even those dedicated to keeping the peace can cross the line.
That's what I'm talking about.
Denzel Washington.
You think I'm crazy, right?
Ethan Hawke.
I think you're a rogue cop.
Training Day. Rated R. Starts September 21st.
Only one left. Who wants the last Frost Brew Coors Light?
Beer man. Beer man.
Whoa. Close one. Close. The beer man is going to have to consult the instant replay. Upon further review, the lady gets the Coors Light.
Beer man's fair.
Look at her.
But he ain't stupid.
Look at me.
Gary Condit, the man everyone's been talking about all summer, has finally decided to talk. Thursday, he speaks out exclusively to Connie Chung on Primetime.
Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Original Coors. Nothing beats an original. Jeep Liberty, the next great Jeep idea. Jeep, there's only one. And Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade, is it in you? Mungo Jerry.
That's who that is. I love that too.
Love Mungo Jerry's.
Well,
from the 11-yard line, the Green Bay Packers take over. Favre still in the game. And he hands the ball to Rondell Mealy. Packers with a tremendous home field advantage through the years, and one of the reasons, of course, is the guy in your picture. Look at Terry Bradshaw and his home winning percentage, and Favre would rank second since 1950 in that category, with Staubach and Elway at over 80%.
Must be something in that bayou water down there.
Yeah. Second and 10 from the 11. Neely. Dan, most guys would say Peyton Manning would rank #1 in their book. Most scouts would say. But where do you put Favre right now in his career?
Well, I think he's the best in the game when he's healthy, as he appears to be now. He's battled some injuries the last couple of years, and you always have to worry about that when a player's played as much as he has. But he's such a great leader. The confidence he gives this team and the way that he can make the big play to electrify not only the crowd, but his team as well. Favre's at the top of his game right now, and I think that's the reason why the Packers have to be considered a serious playoff contender.
Third down and 3. You saw the Ring of Honor with Bart Starr's name, and someday that ring will have number 4's name up there as well. Chester McLaughlin is hurt. He's down.
Prior to snap, false start. 84, offense. 5-yard penalty, third down.
False start by Schrader, but McLaughlin, who came over from Kansas City, the former Raider, former Chief. This is not a scene that Mike Shanahan enjoys looking at.
Well, Trevor Price inadvertently is going to hit Chester McLaughlin. Watch the two tackles here. They're running a stunt. And Price's right leg will hit McLaughlin's left leg. And that is a knee injury, or perhaps best case scenario, just a bruise. But Trevor Price is a big man, as is Chester McLaughlin.
Well, the only thing
there, Dennis.
Yeah, the only good thing you can say from that picture is his foot did not stick in the turf. He got hit right square on the side of the knee, but it did come up.
And that's the equivalent of like a cut block or a chop block, and I rarely do you see that in that particular scenario.
You know, strange part about football injuries is that sometimes with a knee, the more pain you are in, the better it is. Because if you just partially tear or tweak a knee, it's very painful. If you totally tear a ligament, there is no pain because there is no ligament. So this is an excellent sign for Denver. Number one, that McLaughlin was in pain, but even better than that, he's walking off the field.
We, of course, got that information from team trainer, the Marquis de Sade.
It is weird, though. I mean, the trainers will tell you when you're down there, does it hurt a lot? And you say, yeah. He said, well, that's good. It'll go away. Just hang in there. Takes a while for that pain to go away, though.
Well, nice to see Big Chet up, because the coaches say that since he's come over from Kansas City, he's been playing his butt off for him.
And the man who replaces him is another familiar name. Number 94 is Leon Millette, the longtime Cowboy. Now a Bronco. Favre drops the ball and then recovers it, but it's 4th down, and the Packers will punt from deep in their own territory.
See, Leon comes into the game, people start fumbling, including Leon.
Snap hits Favre in the left knee.
And that was Frank Winters snapping at that time.
Heads up by Favre, getting on that loose ball, but the Packers playing sloppy now in the second quarter.
Josh Bidwell, the former Oregon Duck, to punt.
Go Ducks.
Kevin Kasper's had 2 nice kickoff returns. And now a decent punt return as he takes it across the 5th inning. He's knocked out of bounds at the 49-yard line with 6:13 to play in the opening half.
Well, Mr. Kasper certainly looks like he understands the transaction back there. Go north-south as far as you can, then look for somebody to hit.
Yeah, he's got that mentality of a safety that Mike Shanahan says is so rare in a wide receiver. But he did this. The one thing you got to do as a punt return, make that first guy miss, and then take your chances on the sidelines.
Mike Shanahan will be 49 years old on Friday. Still a young man despite being around longer than most of the coaches now heading up teams in the National Football League. Tremendous success, 2 Super Bowl wins. I mean, he is in anybody's top 3.
State of the art.
Mike Anderson picks up 3. Let's go down to ED. Eric?
Here with Terrell Davis, Broncos running back. Terrell, can you tell me, when do you think you'll play your first preseason game?
Probably next week. Yeah, that's when I'm scheduled to play against New Orleans.
Now, you know how the critics are. A lot of critics are saying that Terrell Davis cannot come back and be the same player that he was when he ran for 2,000 yards. What do you have to say to them?
I mean, that's fine. You know, everybody's going to have their opinion about different things, but, you know, I know what I can do when I'm healthy. So my main focus is just to be healthy and play next week and take it game by game.
Now, what if you're not given the chance to compete for your starting position? Would you be comfortable in a backup role?
No, I don't think that would be the situation here. I think I'm going to have every opportunity to retain my starting position. So I'm not worried about that. You know, if I get the opportunity to go ahead and do what I have to do, then it's up to me. If I fail to do that, then everything lies on my shoulders.
Thanks. Thank you. Back to you guys.
All right, well, there is Olandis Gary, who's on the bench. You just saw Mike Anderson run for a first down, and pretty much what I'd expect Terrell to say. How could he be happy in a backup role?
Well, and Shanahan says he'll play half next week against New Orleans and then half against San Francisco, and that will give Shanahan the chance to compare him to the other two backs.
And Shanahan said before the hamstring he looked great.
Anderson for 1.5 yards. That was some scene down in the field when you see Eric Dickerson standing next to Terrell Davis. And here's what we mean. Look at that. Over 3 consecutive seasons, Davis from 96 to 98, 5,200 yards, and then Eric between 84 and 86 with the Rams would be second. Barry Sanders and Earl Campbell, pretty good panel.
Yeah, that's a good foursome there, isn't it?
So Eric will make his 2001 debut when they open up their new stadium against the Saints on Saturday in Denver. And that pass is thrown behind Patrick Hay. Check in with Melissa.
Alan, injury update on Chester McLaughlin. Official word from the Broncos. He has a sprained left knee. He's icing it now on the sidelines.
Okay, and it's preseason, so I would doubt we would see him back in the game. There's no reason to see him back in the game.
And it's really unfortunate that we haven't been able to see him play more tonight, because he, at 335 pounds, is that run stuffer. He's the guy that will occupy the guard and center and allow Al Wilson to use his speed as a middle linebacker.
You know, Shanahan got so stung on the Dale Carter thing, I'm surprised he went back to the KC well for another import.
3rd and 9. Barat steps up, hits Anderson. Mike breaks 2 tackles and then tries to roll his way forward, but is shy of the first down by a couple. Stopped at the 30 by Chris Akins.
It's interesting. When we talked to Anderson last night, he said the one thing he wants to improve on is that his participation in the passing game, running routes, learning defenses. But one thing he's got is the ability to make people miss. It's just a checkoff throw by Farrat as he steps up into the pocket nicely. Watch one miss here, but that's Bernardo Harris. Then McGarahan. That's 3 Packers until Flanagan gets over to bring him down.
And Denver going for it, lining up on 4th down and 2. And Farrat throws it away, and then Anderson can't make the catch. Farrat was being swallowed up and somehow got it out of there, and Anderson pounding the grass in frustration.
He had a lot of room to run, didn't he, Dennis?
Yeah, I just think Anderson was surprised to see Farrat come out of that hive.
I don't think he saw the ball. I mean, look at this ball comes from the hip. It's right on target. Anderson looking downfield just before the ball got there. This is a great play by Farrat. Hanging tough in the pocket, and look at that room. All the way down the sidelines, he might have got in the end zone.
Now, that's the very definition of knowing where your drop-off receiver is there. Farrat was fighting for his very life, and yet he just knew the place where he'd be.
Getting instructions on the sidelines. Catch the ball with your hands. Don't let it get into your body.
Meanwhile, Favre now, he's going to play the whole half, apparently. And Antonio Freeman up at the 35-yard line. Antonio Freeman was coming along brilliantly early in his career, was signed for enormous money a couple of years ago, and there's the comparison, 97 and 98, what he's done over the last 2 years. And in Green Bay, it's become fashionable to say the money spoiled him, but he still has his moments. He still has his moments in the doghouse too, though. He was suspended for the last game last season.
Man.
Billy Jenkins makes the acquaintance of Herbert Goodman.
Yeah, he's competing with Kenoy Kennedy for that strong safety spot. He just made an impression on the coach and on the running back.
I think Billy's a little cranky about having to compete with Kanoy, and he took it out there on the pack.
Well, rarely do you get such a free shot as he comes on the run blitz here. Watch 32 hit Whisper, and I'm afraid Whisper heard all of that.
Whew.
3rd and 4. Favre slings it to the sideline. Schrader had to stop, covered by Spencer. And it's 4th down, and the Packers will punt.
Do you think that Ray Rhodes has got an edge in this game? I mean, he's got these guys coming hard. They're blitzing a lot in this game. It's a preseason game. I just get the feeling that Ray's trying to prove a point here tonight.
Ray, the defensive coordinator now of the Denver Broncos. There he was as the head coach in Philadelphia for 4 years, then hired by Ron Wolf to coach here in '99, and Wolf felt he made a mistake. 8-8 season. Out he went. Defensive coordinator at Washington last year, and now under Shanahan in Denver. As Bidwell's punt stops at the 23-yard line. So the 2-minute warning comes with $1:51 to go in the half, and Denver up by 4.
I wrote this song on the back of a Dixie cup. Money talks, but it don't sing and dance and it don't walk. As long as I can have you here with me, I'd much rather be forever in blue jeans. My first love, love on the rocks. Forever in blue jeans, babe.
What are we waiting for? Action!
Warning, this film may contain the following: illicit behavior.
We can get nasty.
First, I want you to, ooh. After that, then I want you to, whoa.
I quit.
Foul language.
You fat.
Expletive deleted.
Boo-boo, kitty.
Expletive deleted.
And intense action. Jay and Silent Bob's Strike Back, rated R. In theaters everywhere Friday.
Clarendon goes to bat for Mike Piazza.
Mike Piazza doesn't worry about sneezing. He doesn't worry about a runny nose or itchy, watery eyes. Because Mike knows that just one Claritin relieves all those things for 24 hours without making him drowsy. Claritin has a low occurrence of side effects such as headache, drowsiness, fatigue, and dry mouth, similar to sugar pill.
Just a walk in the park.
Talk to your doctor about Claritin.
Thieves, Fridays this fall on ABC.
Coming up, the Lexus halftime show. You know, we're counting down at 20,000 points in the history of Monday Night Football. So many memories. How about this Brett Favre run in the rainstorm? It was raining so hard that night in Chicago. It was raining horizontally as he scored in those throwback uniforms. On the Lexus halftime show, walk down memory lane. We'll also talk with Pat Bowlen, the owner of the Broncos, very intimately involved in the negotiations. There is Pat with the NFL officials. Dennis talked about it before. There's the possibility of a lockout by the NFL that could take place the last weekend of preseason action, 2 weeks from now. From the 23-yard line on first down, Farrak gives the ball to Olandis Gary, who works his way to the outside. And just to bring you up to date, the league met with the officials' representative Tom Condon in New York today. 4-hour meeting. The league increased the 401k and pension offers, but league officials didn't move off their demands for what the officials want as huge salary demands. League says in the 400 to 500% range, as the catch is made by Eddie Kennison. And the league is apparently hinting at beginning not only to look for officials, which they've already stated, replacement officials, but perhaps holding a clinic before the end of the month to get them in place.
You know, Al, I'm a little worried about the caliber of the replacement refs. I saw Ian Woosnad's caddy's name on the list.
That would give you pause.
Andy Von Helleman, you know.
Yeah, they talk about the integrity of the game. How can they talk about the integrity of the NFL and have replacement officials? Well, I know they did it with replacement players. That stunk. It'll stink just as bad with the replacement refs.
We'll talk to Pat Bowlen about it. You know, it's funny how they spin it. You can spin the numbers any way you want as timeout is taken here. But Look, we all know how you can, accountants, the bean counters can spin the numbers any way they want. So what the officials are basically saying is, and you can put up all the panels you want, they make less money than the officials in the NBA or the NHL or Major League Baseball. But on the other side of the coin, you could point out that the officials on a per game basis make a lot more than those other officials.
Well, what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to go to full-time officials and make an agreement so that these guys are paid as well as the officials in the other sports, because the part-time thing, these guys do a great job. But why don't we just make them full-time and make them on par financially with the other one?
That's been talked about a lot, but my question is, what do they do the rest of the year? I mean, most of the officials in the National Football League are professional men. They're lawyers. We have doctors. We have engineers. We have professional people who I don't think would give up their jobs.
No, but nothing wrong with having 2 jobs as they have now.
3rd down and 1 as Farrat throws, and getting wide open is Travis McGriff into Green Bay territory, and he's out of bounds at the 34-yard line.
Well, the old hook and go got the Packers secondary that time. Todd McBride is going to be beat by Travis McGriff. McGriff is not a big guy, but he's got great moves. Great sell of that slant route. McBride can do nothing but just watch him go down the sidelines and hope that Darren Sharper can push him out of bounds.
Wow.
The first part of that play is for Farrat to make it look like it's a slant. That's why you saw that pump fake there.
Todd McBride was baked McBride on that play.
34. Gary picks up 6. I haven't heard Bake McBride's name mentioned in about 15 years.
Right. He was fast on the base pass, wasn't he, Beano?
St. Louis, yes, he was. Good outfielder. Melissa.
Al, here in Lambeau Field, we are reminded of the many great Packer traditions. One in particular started in the mid-'60s during the Bart Starr era, and it still continues today. Players in the preseason ride little kids' bikes from the locker room down to the practice field. Coach Mike Sherman even joins in the fun the first day of camp. The last 2 years, he's ridden as well. The players say, just like the Lambeau Leap, just like Cheeseheads, it's what the Packers are all about. They say it's a tradition that will never be broken, Al.
Packers currently have 40 men on the IR with pulled groins, Al. I would hasten to add.
You know, I think earlier I mentioned Amon Green had a hamstring pull. Actually, it was a groin pull. So he's one of them.
They got to get those kids bigger bikes.
Adam Sandler in the crowd.
2nd and 3.
That's my guy now.
That's right. Dan was and Brent Musburger were the stars of that movie. Farrat gets spun down by Cledius Hunt. Now, that's a fine play to make in August. The problem with Cledius is they won't have him in September. He is suspended for the first 4 games of the regular season for violating the league's substance abuse policy.
Farrat's got to throw that ball away when he's in the grasp like that. He lost a lot of valuable yardage.
3rd and 14. That catch was made by Travis McGriff, but well short of the first. Tackled by McBride. Clock keeps rolling. Ball at the 29. Be 4th down. And they're going to bring in the field goal unit. There's a punting battle in Denver, but there's no question as to who will be their place kicker. Once again, Mr. Jason Elam in his 9th year. And timeout is taken here by Green Bay, so they'll conserve some time.
15-second charge timeout. 30-second timeout.
When they get the ball back, 24 seconds remaining in the half.
Well, they could have done that 15 seconds ago, though. It was apparent that Denver was going to bring in the field goal team, and the Packers lost a lot of time there.
You know, the punting battle does affect Elam to some extent, Al, though, because Ruins is Holder, and Ruins also his good friend, but I don't think the stars line up very good for Ruin. He's got $1 million cap number. Denver was 28th in the league last year in punting net average. I mean, 28th in the league at sea level is bad. You do it a mile up in the mountains, you're in trouble, my friend. They might have to melt down his wife's gold medals here, because I think things do not augur well for Ruin if Harris has a good game.
Married to the Olympic swimmer Amy Van Dyken. Ruin and Elam each in his 9th season. Jason now, who, as you know, along with Dempsey, holds the NFL mark, 63 yards. So this is like a chip shot for him. 46.
7-iron.
But he hooked it. Should have laid up.
In the heavy tundra air.
19 seconds left in the half. Well, we'll go to Denver 3 weeks from tonight in Vesco Field at Mile High, and that's created a big flap in Denver because the Denver Post refuses to call it anything but the new Mile High. But there is the official name of it. Pat Boland commissioned that sculpture outside the edifice, and there it is. A look at it. It opened up to an Eagles concert the other night. They'll play 2 preseason games there. There'll be a college game as well, and then Monday Night Football on September 10th. Favre throws, and that's incomplete up at the 50-yard line, intended for Bradford.
Hey, Brett is bringing the heat tonight, but he's got to find himself a catcher because there's a lot of dropsies here. Some of these balls are impaling these people, and they're not catching.
Well, this is he did what time for Brett Favre, and Bradford's going to try and catch this one off his back. Only Antonio Freeman can do that, but Bradford having a rough night. So him drop 2 earlier in the second quarter.
Yeah. Mobley made it even rougher for him to make that last catch. Second and 10 now from the 37-yard line. Favre paying the price and dropping it was Freeman. And Antonio wants to know who did what.
Well, they got a flag on that helmet-to-helmet hit.
That's Eric Brown, who blasted him.
Well, you got a lot of big hitters in that Denver secondary.
Now you got to wonder about, the guy's just trying to make a play on the ball. Watch Freeman. He knows this ball's coming fast, and you just cannot lead with your head.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 27 defense. Helmet-to-helmet to a defenseless player. Automatic first down.
Well, that's a double hit. Did you see the first thing that hits the ground is the back of Freeman's head? So he gets a shot by Brown right there. Then his head hits the ground. You're talking concussion here for sure. Boy, that may draw a fine. That will draw a fine.
That's a fine or a suspension.
Yeah. You just can't do it. I mean, this isn't a new rule. This rule's been around for a long time. Just ask Chuck Cecil.
It's all
Mark Carrier.
Dan, you're the only one who can speak to this. You're the only one who's been out there. It's all happening so fast, though. Is Eric Brown really premeditating a helmet-to-helmet hit there?
Absolutely. These guys are great athletes. Eric Brown's a great athlete, or he wouldn't be playing in the NFL. He knows that he can't do that. That he could make a play on that ball. Heck, he could have almost picked that ball off.
Well, the most disconcerting part of this right now is Freeman's down on the ground, and they're high-fiving each other. And Brown doesn't appear to be particularly concerned about it.
Yeah, that's the mentality of defensive backs. I mean, they're supposed to be hitters, and Brown is a good one. But he should be over there concerned about the welfare of number 86. The scary thing is the back of the head on the ground. You get the shot in the chops right there, and then all of your 200 pounds or so that Freeman weighs comes down on the back of his head.
Well, Dan, didn't you once tell me the most frightening injury you had in the NFL was hitting the back of your helmet on the turf once, right?
Well, I broke the back of my helmet getting hit. Not like that, but the first thing that hit was the back of my helmet. I tell you one thing, he's walking off the field, but he's got no idea.
Wow, that's a resilient guy.
Yeah.
Maybe he's smiling because he knows that's the hardest hit he's going to take this year.
That's a career shot. He's lucky he's not seriously injured.
Well, thank God.
Yep.
First assessed penalty against Denver tonight.
So you're smelling suspension there, guys?
No, I'm not saying that, but it's the kind of hit that the league obviously looks at carefully.
Well, they're looking to protect players, defenseless players, as Freeman was.
We're not going to do Gene Washington's job.
No, I don't want to do that.
He'll go over it tomorrow very carefully. From the 48-yard line, Favre. That's Whisper Goodman, who quietly steps out of bounds. The 44.
Well, nice half of work for Brett Favre tonight.
Now, we're going to leave it to the league to decide, because too often what happens is we say something, the writers pick it up, say that we caused a suspension or a fine. We're not saying that. This is the kind of thing. It's evident, it's clear, and Gene Washington looks at it tomorrow, and he doesn't hear the commentary when he looks at the tape. They make the call.
It's pretty much a no-brainer.
I mean, Gene Washington doesn't get to hear us?
He's got us on mute. 2nd and 6 from the 44. Launching into the end zone and incomplete. And that is the way the first half will end. Coming up next will be our Lexus halftime.